What's up, everybody? TJ and Carrie here with Muscle Growth Mindset. We're going to talk today about maximizing muscle growth. So what's step one to try to maximize our muscle growth, Carrie?
Step one, the most basic thing is that you need to be in a caloric surplus.
Okay.
You need calories to build.
Okay. Caloric surplus. So we need to take in more calories than we're burning.
Yep.
So figure our BMR, which you can just go online, calculate your BMR. Then take into account your activity level. So say your BMR is 2,000 calories a day, activity level another 1,000 calories a day. Then you'd want to be at least, 500 calories on top of that.
Yep.
3,500 calories for someone with a BMR of 2,000 with an activity level of 1,000. Okay, so that's a minimum, right? A little more than that may be okay, depending. I think a lot of it depends on your activity level and your training intensity. So how do we get these calories? Where do we want these to come from? Obviously, calories from proteins, fats, and carbs.
Right.
So what do we need protein-wise?
So you want a fairly balanced diet, but remember that we're maximizing muscle growth to ensure that at every opportunity that you can grow muscle, you will. You want to do about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight.
That's a lot of protein.
That is, a lot of people say it's excessive, but this is the maximum muscle growth diet. This is to ensure that no matter what, you're going to grow.
And a little disclaimer here, we're not saying this is the healthiest diet. We're not saying this is the most ideal diet for, overall health or well-being. We're saying this is what you want to do to put on as much muscle as possible.
You can still grow muscle in different ways by not following this diet, but if you want the best possible.
Yeah, maximal. Okay, so you're taking in 1.5 to 2 grams per pound of protein. What about carbohydrates?
Now that's definitely going to vary, depend on your body type, but you definitely need a fair amount. You need a surplus. Endomorphs, ectomorphs, mesomorphs, they all require a little bit different, and you kind of have to find out what your body type is for that.
Basically, you need carbohydrates, though.
Absolutely.
So to build muscle, you need glycogen stores for energy. You need a lot of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates to affect insulin, which we're going to come back to in just a minute, so stand by for that. So just know you need a good amount of carbohydrates, and then fat intake.
Okay, we've talked about the fat intake previously. Remember that for a while there, people were doing the no-fat, low-fat diets. Fats transport vitamins, and more importantly, fats are precursors to steroids in your body. If you do not have fats in your body does not have the ability to create steroids, which includes cortisol, estrogen, and of course, testosterone.
And these are all steroids that are naturally made in your body. We're not talking about taking steroids. We're talking about the steroids that you're making already. And in order to produce these, you need fats.
Have to.
And speaking of these steroids, things like testosterone, growth hormone, these are very important for muscle growth. We need testosterone.
Pretty essential.
To maximize both of those, which we just did a video on testosterone and talked about ways to maximize natural testosterone, and then also we did a growth hormone video, so if you can refer back to those to know in more detail on how to increase those. But just know growth hormone and testosterone need to be maximized. So a couple of quick pointers on that. What are some things we can do for those?
At least 30 grams of fat per day. Zinc, vitamin D, and of course plenty of rest. Remember, you break down the muscle in the workout, you build it when you're resting. So get enough sleep, make sure your testosterone levels and growth hormone levels are...
Yeah, definitely need sleep for recovery, and then like you just mentioned, growth hormone. Your growth hormone production is up when you're fasting, when you're sleeping. So sleep, rest. Digestion is really important as well, right? We need proper digestion in order to maximize muscle growth. Why is that?
Well, if you're not absorbing the nutrients, what good is eating all that food going to do for you?
Right.
So to do that, to make sure that you're absorbing the nutrients, you need to take care of maybe digestive enzymes with the big meals, probiotics, fiber. Remember that your microbiome is responsible for a lot of that digestion. We've got a video on that. Refer back to that for all the details. And of course, water. Water is essential for good digestion.
Yeah, when you're taking in this much food, what you need to maximize muscle growth, it's hard to digest. So you need to, you have to do these supplements. You have to take digestive enzymes to aid in that digestion process. You have to take the probiotics and the prebiotics, fiber, and of course water. Water is important for several reasons, right?
So water deserves its own section here. So if you lose 1% of your weight in water, your performance goes down greatly and your brain starts suffering effects. So you never ever want to be deficient in water. Bodybuilders generally tend to drink enough water they're peeing once an hour.
I wish. It's like once every 20 or 30 minutes.
All right. Still, it's a lot. To ensure this way, so when you wake up in the mornings, drink plenty of water, 3 12-ounce glasses of water, preload before your workout, drink water throughout the workout, and post-load after the workout to make sure that you've got enough water for the functioning of everything in your body, including your muscles.
Yeah, water is huge for performance. Your body is, majority water. You need it in all aspects. Like I said, digestion, performance. Your muscles are made of a lot of water. Mm-hmm. So if you don't stay hydrated, you're not going to be able to put on that maximum amount of muscle that we're going for. I'd like to go back. We had talked about carbohydrates. We said we'd come back to it here. Insulin, very anabolic hormone. We need insulin to grow.
Yeah. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone in the human body. Factually true. It's not a direct muscle growth hormone, but by manipulating through your diet, you can maximize additional gains other than exercise. So you can spike your insulin levels with carbohydrates, and it promotes nutrient absorption, including amino acids, but definitely glycogen. Now, when we say maximum muscle growth and it's the most anabolic hormone in the human body, there is a side effect as well from insulin. You also will grow fat. That's why it's the most anabolic hormone in the body. It grows everything.
Okay, so we need to maximally grow muscle, we need to keep insulin levels going elevated, I guess. Mm-hmm. We need to keep spiking insulin to get maximum glycogen stores in your muscle, keep your muscles full. You've got a tank this big, and you go without your carbohydrates, you start to deplete that tank. Well, now you're not doing the maximum amount of muscle growth. So we have to keep that tank overflowing. And in order to do that, now that overflow has to go somewhere. It's stored as body fat.
Yep.
But that's why you see bodybuilders, they get a little softer in the off season. They go through that bulking phase. That's what they're doing. They lose some of that insulin sensitivity. They take in more carbohydrates than their body can actually utilize, and it stores some as fat. But in doing that, they're building as much muscle as possible. So you sacrifice a little in the leanness factor, but like I said, we're once again maximal muscle growth here. So you have to control your insulin levels, keep glycogen high. A trick to this to keep you leaner, I like carb cycle, or every few weeks maybe you can deplete a little bit, do some lower carb days, just not back on too much body fat.
Yeah.
And that's why bodybuilders, great example, they go through their leaning out phase and then their bulking phase. Leaning out, bulking. You kind of go through those waves. But
if you're a power lifter, probably not going to worry about it too much. Just grow.
Yeah, just eat and grow.
Eat more. Yeah.
So insulin is huge with this. You have to have insulin. You have to have carbohydrates for maximal muscle growth.
Low glycemic, complex carbohydrates. Ice cream is generally not a good way to go.
It works. It's carb. Okay, a little bit on training.
Last element.
You have to train. You have to train hard to build muscle, right? The harder you train, as long as your nutrition's on point, the faster, the better your muscle growth is going to be.
Yep.
You want high intensity. Why do you want high intensity?
Well, high intensity means a couple different things. For a powerlifter, if you want to maximize your strength, high intensity means you got to be working at 80% of your maximum or above. That's to put the appropriate amount of load and stress in your body to push it to get stronger. Now in bodybuilding, high intensity means high reps with heavy weight to produce as much lactic acid as possible. When you feel that burn and that pain that comes into your muscles, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly, that burn. Whenever you're doing that set and when you get to where it's burning, that's when it's working. That's when you keep going. And the more time you can spend in that zone, the more muscle you're going to build. So you want that lactic acid because, one, it's going to lead to growth hormone production.
Oh, yeah.
And which growth hormone means cell proliferation.
Right.
Cell proliferation means growth, cell growth, okay, which is what we're going for here. Maximum cell proliferation, maximum cell growth, more muscles. Okay, there's some drawbacks with this, which we've touched on before. You get maximum cell proliferation. What's the negatives with this?
So cell proliferation, it generally means growth. Growth is what we look for. We want for bigger or stronger muscles. Now, very rarely, especially when it's diet related, is cell proliferation specific. That means that if you're growing, the other things that come with cell proliferation is aging. If you have any cancer in your body, that cancer has an opportunity to grow as well. So, and any kind of diet that promotes cell proliferation is going to promote all the rest of these things. So if you're fast forwarding the growth process, you're fast forwarding aging, and you're giving cancer a better opportunity to grab a hold. I will say there's an exception. Exercise is one of the few specific. It promotes proliferation of 3 parts of the body: the heart, skeletal muscle tissue, and the brain, and then decreases in several parts of the body, including fat. So exercise is always good. There's nothing wrong. You should always be exercising.
Right. So we're talking about, remember I said earlier that maybe this isn't the most healthy diet. We're talking about the maximum muscle growth diet. So yes, you're accelerating growth, but you're also, with this type of diet, going to accelerate aging a little bit. This is why you have some 27-year-old bodybuilder that's 280, 300 pounds, and he looks like he's 40. Plenty of examples out there, but we're not going to call you guys out. So what are some ways we could battle this, though? We can, I guess, kind of take the edge off a little bit with cell proliferation and hopefully battle some of those negative side effects.
So you still want to maximize muscle growth, and to do that, we do all that. You can still combat the negatives by taking antioxidants. One of the easiest ways, we have a video on polyphenols. Polyphenols are found in fruits and vegetables. You can supplement with them. There's a lot of different other antioxidants out there, anti-inflammatories. I wouldn't recommend the NSAIDs like ibuprofen and whatnot. Right. There's parts of inflammation that are naturally in the body that promote muscle growth. The drugs don't understand which is which. They don't differentiate, and you will not get muscle growth if you take those things. So I would suggest polyphenols, the best way I know.
Right, so natural anti-inflammatories and antioxidants. That's going to kind of battle the negatives with cell proliferation.
Yep.
And then one last topic with maximal muscle growth, the taboo subject, being enhanced, whether it's exogenously taking steroids like testosterone or taking things like growth hormone or insulin. Mm-hmm. All these things are great for growth. They're great for cell proliferation.
They work.
You get your testosterone levels about 130% of the high range, so you're looking at 1,500 levels of testosterone. That's when you get accelerated muscle growth. Mm-hmm. Great for proliferation, but once again, cell proliferation, it's not just muscles. So you're accelerating all the negatives with this as well.
Yeah.
So yes, you can supplement with this. Yes, it's going to make you bigger. Yes, you're going to grow faster, but you're also going to have to deal with accelerating the side effects as well. So if you're going to do this, we go back to the polyphenol thing.
It's even more important in this case.
Antioxidants. Yes, you need to try to battle these negatives a little bit. So
curcumin, resveratrol, green tea polyphenols, all these are great.
All right, so quick recap. I want to build as much muscle as possible. What do I do, Kerry?
All right, caloric surplus, rest, digestion, insulin diet, intensive training, and I guess increasing your testosterone and human growth hormone, but the rest of that should promote that naturally as long as you get plenty of rest, There are supplements you can take, natural supplements. That's pretty much everything.
All right, if you guys want to know more details, more information on any of these specific topics, let us know, make comments, ask away. We want to know what you guys want to know. We want to help you out, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go build some muscle. It's time to train.
All right.
Next time.
Rule number 1. Peace.